What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 7, season 2 of SportsCasters. We thank you for tuning in and hope you enjoy.
Before it slows up, before the window of opportunity closes up. I came, I saw, I conquered, I'm ball. Yeah. I came, I saw, I conquered, I'm ball. Yeah. Yo, we should get them, so I got them all. Yeah. And turn this bitch into a barrier.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to season 2, episode 7 of Sportscasters Media. I'm your co-host, Makayla Evans. This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, and SportsHouse. I'm here today with our lovely host, Jalia Santos, our 2 sports analysts, Matthew Anderson, Sterling Harris, along with Noah Chast and Zay Peguese. So lovely to have everybody here today. And so we're going to jump right in to the MLB championships.
Y'all, so what did y'all think about the Dodgers winning it all?
I mean, I saw it coming. I thought it was going to go 7-2. I thought the Rays had a little more fight in them, and it probably would have gone 7 if the manager didn't pull Blake Snell in the 6th inning.
That's facts.
What's up?
I said that's facts.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I thought the Dodgers were going to win. They had just had so much star power, and they were due. They choked in the past, 3 or 4 years. It was their time. And they were with Mookie Betts to put them over the edge of all the other teams. It's too much star power to lose.
Yeah, with the Dodgers, I didn't know they was gonna go all the way. I really thought the Braves were gonna go, but then y'all saw what happened. But we're not gonna talk about that. But Kevin Cash honestly was he was stupid for pulling Blake Snell. I mean, a 2017. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Cy Young MVP. I mean, Cy Young award winner. I mean, he was willing and dealing in 5 1/3. You could at least kept him in the 6th to force a possible Game 7. But the Dodgers, they have so much potential. I mean, like Noah said, they kept going and going, and they just tried to get to win a championship. But this year was the year, as Dave Roberts said.
Oh, man. I mean, didn't I try to let y'all know? I mean, Zay came on here 2 weeks ago screaming Raisin Braves. I'm just like, oh, let's pump the brakes on that a little bit. I think the Dodgers have something to say about that. Also, I did call Dodgers in 6. I'm kind of gloating today because I had it on the money and everything. But with Game 6, I saw an interesting thing that was going around with Kevin Cash about how the reason why he pulled was because of the analytics and yada, yada, yada. Well, analytics actually say keep Blake Snell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The analysts actually said keep Blake Snell in the game because according to, the statistic I saw, Blake Snell, when he goes against the third time against a batter, he gets better as the more times he goes against him. And Mookie Betts, who was at the top of that, gets worse as he faces the pitcher for the third time. And then the person he put in for him, Nick Anderson, who throws 4-seam fastballs, is the exact pitch that Mookie Betts hits the most off a righty. So the analytics made no sense for him to pull him there. The eyeball test clearly said that it made no sense for him to pull him there. So Kevin Cash is going to sleep with that for about, 6 to 8 months and then realize, you kind of ride with that guy until the wheels fall off, in my opinion. But Dodgers, Mookie Betts running around with the oven mitten on his hand. Just everybody they're just too talented. And that's why they won the World Series.
What did y'all think about LA now having 2 championships in 1 year? It's crazy, right? Obviously it's happening, but now they end up with 2 championships.
Hope they're not expecting the Rams to get them one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But on behalf of the Dodgers, though, I mean, Clayton Kershaw, like Sterling said last week, he had that monkey off his back. He really had a tough time in the postseason, and he really deserved a ring. I mean, I think Mookie has his 2nd ring now, and Clayton Kershaw, I mean, he's a vet. He's a will and deal type lefty pitcher. I mean, but he really deserved the ring overall.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Oh, go no.
I was saying, you mentioned the LA teams winning the championship. It's actually kind of crazy because this weird COVID season, this is, I think, the closest to a major 4-sport championships that have ever been won in one city in 1 year. And it probably will never happen again just because normally the NBA season starts at a different time. So it's a little insane. It's this whole season's been history, but there's history in LA right now, which good for you LA people. I'm not an LA fan, but good for them.
Yeah, it seemed like Clayton Kershaw after that Astro series in which we clearly see he was being cheated because not a single Astro threw on the curveball, which is still insane to me. But, he was kind of starting to fall into that Peyton Manning area of like tremendous, probably one of the greatest regular season player, in terms for him pitching wise and Manning quarterback wise, like we'd ever seen. But it was like the narrative about him would have been, but what happens to him in the postseason? But I'm glad to see that, now that the cheating is done, it seems like that can hopefully be over. I mean, we never know, man. The Dodgers got Mookie for 12 years. And I don't know about how the rest of their roster moves would be, but I would be surprised if they're back here, the following year just because of how talented their roster is. So.
When Clayton can finally get that weight off his shoulder, because he had that reputation, like you said, of being that guy that was great in the regular season and choked in the playoffs. And now you can kind of put that behind him. He's got a Hall of Fame resume. He's got a World Series championship. I'm happy for him, honestly.
Same here.
So Noah brought up a good point. He talked about how, this probably won't happen again because of the NBA and NFL and everything like that all happening at once. So we're going to transition right into the NBA. So recently, it just seems like a couple weeks ago, the Lakers had won the championship, and now we're talking about the NBA even pushing up their start date. So how do you guys feel about that? Were you guys expecting this? What do you think?
At first, I was kind of concerned when I was talking about this with me a couple of days ago. At first, I was kind of like, man, these dudes guys just go ahead and play, like part of your job. But I thought about it, and some of these guys are just like the Lakers would be at an extreme disadvantage because they just got finished playing. And usually, you have like a couple months for recovery. Some guys play in the Olympics or whatnot, but they're going to need to at least January. I think somebody even said maybe Martin Luther King Day. But the problem is, with you doing that, the owners are going to lose a lot of money, and they can't stand to lose so much. And being owners and billionaires, they're not trying to lose money for whatsoever.
Yeah, I kind of expected it to be around Christmas time, just for the simple fact that, the last thing that kind of happened where there was a lockout / just delay of play was the lockout in 2011 when they started on Christmas. And for them to finish their season, what was that, early October when the NBA Finals finished?
Yeah.
Goodness, early October, then, running back in December. I think it will happen, but we're going to see a lot of players sit out for, actual load management this time, which will make sense in terms of, keeping the body something like LeBron James and probably most of the Heat team just because of how hard they play. But, I mean, I see the NBA implementing a play-in tournament, for this year again, just because of the scheduling conflict. And we could see a team like the Lakers, be like that 9th seed because so many players sit out. But they'll, they'll make it as an 8th seed and be the scariest 8th seed we can see in the playoffs or something like that. So I think it will happen just because $600 million, which is the number that's floating around out there that will be lost if they wait just an extra month, is too much for owners to bear. Like $600 million in advertisements and sales and all that stuff. So I think they'll end up playing in December.
And just so the viewers know, December 22nd is the date that the NBA wants to go ahead and get back going. But what are y'all opinions, Xavier?
Well, pushing back, because if you just won the championship in it's October, so they won it in September, August.
They won it in
early
October.
October, yeah. You can't just go straight into it like 2 months after and just be like, all right, brand new. Like you gotta give some time for them to rest a little bit. Try to get their mind right. Let them spend time with their families, especially. Then hop on to the season once the season approaches. Like Sterling said, there is a schedule conflict. I mean, we can't help that we're in a pandemic right now, and we're trying to get in things are slowly getting back to normalcy. But for the most part, push the date back so everything could be as good, but it's not perfect. If you get what I'm saying.
See, my problem is they just keep flip-flopping. So, in the beginning of the bubble, they said they're going to start on Christmas. And they pushed it back and said, no, we'll start on MLK Day. And now they're going, now we want to do December 22nd. And I feel like as professional players, they can get their bodies right if they know when they're starting. But they keep switching it up on these players, and I feel like that's probably frustrating for them. So they just need to, whether it's Christmas, the 22nd, MLK, they need to pick a date and decide so players can kind of plan their short off season and their training to make sure they're ready for the season. But they gotta pick one.
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, they had to set it in stone instead of try to like lead them on, playing with their emotions, be like, oh, go for one day, oh, go for another.
Exactly.
And X, Y, Z. And like that's just the inconsistency that the players do not want in the schedule.
When you train at that high level, you plan ahead your months, your vacation, when you're going to start lifting and practicing. It's all planned ahead. So again, if they would have told them in July that, hey, you're playing Christmas, they would have had it ready. They would have been prepared. But then they pushed it back and then they brought it forward, and it's not fair to the players.
Some of the guys said that LeBron, they said if we had to play in December, don't expect LeBron to show up for a month. And then the whole discussion was be like, you can't have your best player not playing for a month. Well, I guess we wouldn't be out. I was about to say, imagine seeing like LeBron at like, obviously maybe not Sonic, but like at a pizza joint. Like LeBron, you know the Lakers are playing, right? But
not me.
Yeah. It's like the other thing with the season is like it's gonna be I think they're shortening it from 82 to 72 games, and then they're gonna scrap the All-Star game for this year. So it's so many variables.
I have a question based on it. So I didn't really like read up too crazy on it, but are they still expecting to do the bubble, or like what's going on with that if they do it? Because like cases are still rising and stuff. So it's like, are they planning on like just doing like everyone staying at their cities and playing games, or are they gonna go back to the bubble? Because it was successful when they did it, but they also didn't have all the teams in it.
I didn't need to do the bubble, honestly, because like the NBA is the most serious sport when it comes to like this whole COVID situation. And then like I'm gonna drill sports for a second. Justin Turner, he violated COVID protocols because like he tested positive during the game, and then he wouldn't like pull out of the game all of a sudden. And then he was celebrating with teammates, and like he knew we had COVID. And so like I honestly say keep the bubble until this COVID thing blows over for me.
I think what they ended up doing is they're going to end up playing at their actual home arenas, and I guess try to do the NFL way, because the NFL, they've gone through half their season with not too many hiccups, and I've been seeing that the Toronto Raptors are actually trying to find a place within the United States to play at. So you got Kansas City out there throwing out their facility, whatever arena they have, and I think Louisville, Kentucky, the KFC Yum Center was, proposing they could play there, stuff like that. So I think they're going to do it that way. And the thing I'd like to keep my eye on is how this I know it's a different, it's exhibition, everything, but it's Mike Tyson, Roy Jones fight. That's going to be the first event in Staples Center since that night they played the Nets and the pandemic, shut everything down. So to see how that event goes, to see how they get out of that, unscathed, I think will help determine how LA teams are going to play, and then everywhere else across the nation will kind of go off of that. Because I think an NBA team, you can try to find a way to do that way easier than an NFL team. And especially at the NFL season with how they're not really organized in terms of figuring out how to test and everything. I trust the NBA to figure that thing out. They're playing everybody their own arenas.
If the NBA does do it in their arenas, I expect probably about 7% fans, maybe not too much more. I think the NFL is allowing at times like 20%. No, 20% will be for the Super Bowl. So I say 7 to 5% just because it's indoors. But we'll see what happens.
Don't it also depend on like on which state it is? Honestly,
yeah,
each state has its own like rules and regulations, so it could be up in the air.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about with the Staples Center, because I'm like, if California is going to let that event take place, then you got a shot for LA teams basketball-wise to play in that state. Because I think every other state is going to be, relatively fine with it, like New York and stuff. That they, their virus cases have been, pretty fine since the beginning. I mean, after the beginning when it was like really bad, since then it's kind of been really well for them. So,
yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see how that all plays out. And so Sterling brought up the NFL. They're doing, so let's switch over to the NFL and the trades they got going on this weekend. The deadline is approaching soon, so what are y'all thinking about that?
All right, so I composed a list of a couple of the trades that have happened. You have Dez Bryant, who's been signed to the Ravens practice squad, Carlos Dunlap, who's heading to Seattle from the Bengals. You got Antonio Brown, who's going to Tampa Bay. You have Will Fuller, who we're trying to figure out if he's going to Green Bay. I'm a Houston fan, so if he does, I'm done with him. Amari Cooper talking about potentially sending him out the way. Stephon Gilmore, they've been talking to him. And Raekwon McMillan, I'm also a Ohio State fan. They sent him from the Dolphins to the Raiders. So what do y'all think about the trades?
Dez Bryant need to get out the practice squad ASAP. They need him now.
Yesterday.
Yeah, because look, the the Ravens, I'm a diehard Ravens fan. You got Hollywood who's standing at 5'9", then you got Duvernay who's standing at 5'10". You need a receiver who can go underneath, and Dez Bryant is the receiver you need at 6'2", and you can go over the top with Duvernay. You can go with a jet sweep with Duvernay. You can go over the top with Hollywood, and like honestly, Lamar needs another receiver, especially a veteran receiver like Dez Bryant. Dunlap, he needed to get out Cincinnati ASAP, but that makes Seattle more of a threat to the NFC because, like, you got one of the best defensive linemen, well, underrated defensive linemen, in my opinion, in the NFL. Seattle would be more of a threat.
Yeah, I like the moves. Dez going to the Baltimore is pretty predictable because they already worked him out before. So I think there's a situation where they was looking at their team. They was like, Dez, we're going to have a slot for you later on in the season. So, come up, stay in shape, whatever, which is why you're probably still posting all those videos. And, let's sign to the practice squad for about a week, see how well he does. And then I think he'll get moved up and instantly start because he will be that big target that Lamar can use when you pull up linebackers during the read option, when you throw that backside slant, because like the same way, Carolina did with Benji and for Cam and Funches, those type of guys, while they still pop the top off the defense with Hollywood and Duvernay and Willie Snead still. Carlos Dunlap to the Seahawks was he's no deep threat. Carlos Dunlap to the Seahawks, very expected because we all know they needed pass rushing help. And I think they're expected to sign Damon Harrison pretty soon as a D tackle. So yeah, I knew they're gonna make a couple moves. When Jamal Adams gets back, I still pick the Seahawks to win just because they have Russell Wilson and all that stuff. But AB to the Browns had to be the most confusing.
To the Bucks, right?
To the Bucks. AB to the Bucks had to be the most confusing move. I feel like it looks great on paper, but I'm just kind of like, wow, what y'all think about that? I mean, don't have no weapons.
He won't last on TV. Honestly, he will not last on TV. Bruce Arians even quote unquote said, "Be a team player or get out." And I think AB's attitude is not what's worked in Tampa Bay. And honestly, even if they got every known veteran on that squad, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl because of two words: team chemistry. It's like at all. It's there, but it's like not like at the Seahawks level.
No,
see, I think Tom Brady and Antonio Brown got a weird thing going on. He's like putting them through the TB12 system. But I agree. It's either going to be like a buster break or whatever it's called. Like he's either going to gel perfectly, he's going to fall in line because Tom Brady will keep him in line, or it'll kind of kill the team and be the worst move they could have done. They don't really need him either because they already got so many weapons. Godwin is hurt a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Mike Evans, Godwin, OJ Howard, Gronk. Who's the running? They got Leonard Fournette.
I think OJ's hurt. I think OJ is hurt for the year, but still, I got Gronk. Yeah, he's out for the year. But they still got Gronk and Brait, and you got Fournette, Ronald Jones Jr., LaShawn McCoy. What do you need Antonio Brown for?
He just got hurt. He got surgery on his thumb or his finger, but he's only going to miss like a week or two. It didn't really make a lot of sense. Just kind of like another, cherry on top. It could melt the whole cake, It's
Shady,
I don't know.
Shady is irrelevant, by the way. He has got he's out the question, man. Throw him out the door, because him with the Eagles was great, but him now, no.
You're really starting to see the emergence of these NFL super teams as well. It used to be just basketball, and the people were kind of throwing a lot of shade. But and I guess on the NFL, there's 11 guys on the field, so you want the best 11 guys. But now these guys must be partnered up. Let's see if we can make it happen. You see guys train together in the off season, and they just try to make it happen once the trade deadline approaches.
Yeah, I was just very confused by that move. Like AB, I could have seen them, maybe Green Bay help Aaron Rodgers out, please. Somebody send AB to even another place. I guess since Odell hurt, Cleveland could have maybe used him. I don't know. Just anywhere, but the Bucs was expected for me. I just didn't see it coming.
You mentioned Green Bay. You talk about Will Fuller. I think that's. I know you're texting me. That's a great move for him. Gets him on a winning team. He already lost his buddy on the other side of the line with DeAndre Hopkins. I think that would be great for the Packers. Great for Will Fuller. The Texans, that's like your last weapon, but I guess at this point you're at a full rebuild mode. So I think it should happen. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, and I think with Will Fuller, if he goes to Green Bay, that would be help for Aaron Rodgers, and that'll be a second threat for Aaron Rodgers. And then you got not just Devontae Allen, now you got Will Fuller as your number 2. So that's a great offense.
We need a first draft pick. So if we got to send him to get a, but y'all don't think we'll get a first rounder for Will Fuller, do y'all?
Probably not a first round.
No.
No.
But I do think y'all have JJ Watt on the trade block right now, and y'all might get something for him. Same thing with Dallas. I don't understand why. I thought they should have never signed Amari Cooper to that crazy contract in the first place. They traded him now. They might get 2 first rounders back for him. So
potentially going.
I have no clue. I mean, I don't think they should have signed him anyway, really. I don't know where he would go. Maybe Miami might, be like, oh, snap, let's just go ahead and pair him with Tua for a little bit. We already got
too, so that would be a
we already got what's the doing on the other side? He's a good receiver. Miami got a good receiver there already, but I can't think of his name. Yeah, Devontae Parker. Yeah, they got Devontae Parker. You can pair him with Tua and Amari Cooper. Maybe Miami might work, make sense. I don't know. I really don't know.
Hey, and the last thing I'm gonna ask y'all is about Gilmore. Do y'all think Gilmore stays in New England, or do you think they ship him out?
Nope.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Nope. He gone. He gone.
I'd say he stays.
You say he stays? That man went from being the best corner in the game to on the trade block. But New England.
It's not that he's bad. It's just the way
bad.
New England operates is they're going to get those first rounders for him while they can still get them at a high value.
Yeah, but I don't know. They're a team that can turn around so quickly and he's such a lockdown corner. If they're good next year, they're going to want him on the team.
No, they'll draft. New England will draft, and there's going to be a team that's desperate enough that will give Belichick what he wants for him. There's going to be a team somewhere that's like, if we just get a lockdown corner, we might have a shot. I see that happening.
And then they're going to take all their picks and trade up to get Trevor Lawrence.
They're going to do something crazy. It's Belichick we're talking about.
True.
Trevor to the Jets. We'll see what happens though.
Oh God, he's going back to Clemson.
No. Senior season at Clemson.
He'd rather grad transfer to South Carolina than go to the Jets. I mean, my goodness, it'll be that bad.
All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up for this episode. So Sterling and Matt, thank you guys as always for hopping on. Makayla for being the co-host as always, and Zay and Noah, thank you guys for being our special guests. SportsCasters is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, and Matt's SportsHouse. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next episode. Bye.
Peace.
This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, and Matt's SportsHouse. Stay tuned next week for episode 8, season 2 of SportsCasters. See you then.